Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. It is accomplished. In this episode, I am going to take you through a journey of the mind to imagine and experience the 7 incredible things that happened immediately after Jesus died on the cross. Let's get started. Number 1. The earth trembles with earthquakes. Imagine standing at the foot of a hill on a day that started like any other but turned into one you would never forget. As Jesus, the man many loved and followed, hangs on the cross, he cries out in a loud voice, and suddenly the ground beneath you shakes violently. People around you are terrified, looking around, wondering what's happening. As you stand there, the ground beneath your feet rumbles. The man on the cross, Jesus, who spoke of love, who healed the sick and welcomed the outcast, is dying. It is accomplished. His final cry echoing against the darkened sky feels like a plea, a declaration, and a fulfillment of the promise of redemption to humanity. Around you, faces are filled with fear and confusion. Some weep openly, their hopes dashed. Others, perhaps not even followers of Jesus, sense the magnitude of this moment. The earth's trembling seems to reach into the very hearts of those gathered, stirring questions and fears. What makes this earthquake even more unsettling is the timing. It happens at the exact moment Jesus breathes his last. Nature itself reacted to the death of the Son of God, proving that he was more than just a man. We know that natural phenomena could be signs from the divine. What could be more signifying than an earthquake coinciding with the death of a man who told the world that he is the Son of God? The darkening of the sky adds to the surreal. A mournful atmosphere settles over the land. It's midday, yet it looks as if night is falling. This darkness isn't just a weather phenomenon. It feels symbolic, like a cloak of mourning covering the land in response to the injustice and sorrow of the crucifixion. The earthquake, the darkness, the fear, and the sorrow all intertwine, marking this day as one of profound significance. It's a moment that is remembered, retold, and pondered upon by this generation, the generations before, and the generations to come. Clearly, this is a moment when the earth itself could not stay silent. Number 2. The curtain of the temple tears in half. As Jesus dies on the cross, far away in the heart of Jerusalem, in the temple where people have worshipped for centuries, something extraordinary happened. A thick, heavy curtain that separates the holiest place, a place only the high priest enters once a year, is torn in two from top to bottom. It's as if an unseen hand is sending a message. The way to God is now open to everyone, not just a few. This temple, the epicenter of Jewish worship and community, houses within its innermost sanctuary the Holy of Holies, a place so sacred that only the high priest is permitted to enter, and even then, only once a year, on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It is here that the priest offers sacrifices for the sins of the people, mediating between them and God. At the very moment when Jesus breathes his last breath, this curtain, a symbol of the separation between God and humanity, a barrier to direct access to the divine presence, is ripped apart without human intervention. This miraculous event is not ordinary, it is rich with symbolism. The tearing of the curtain signifies the end of the Old Covenant, where access to God was limited and mediated through priesthood and sacrifice. It brings forth the beginning of a new covenant, where the barrier between God and humanity is removed through the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ. In this single divine act, the message is clear and revolutionary. The way to God is now open to all, not just to a select few. The separation is abolished. Direct access to the divine is granted to everyone, irrespective of status, ethnicity, or righteousness. The sacrificial death of Jesus on the cross becomes the new temple, the new way to God. It is a moment of liberation, a democratization of access to God's presence, making it possible for each person to approach God with confidence and hope. Now we have come to understand and proclaim this truth, that in Jesus, God has made a way for everyone to come into his presence freely, without fear, without intermediary. The torn curtain in the temple is evidence to this new reality, a silent witness to the dawn of a new era in human-divine relations. Number 3. A powerful secret disciple comes out in the open. After the death of Jesus, there was confusion and fear among the disciples of Jesus. Remember that these were barely literate and mostly commoners. They were lost against the powers of the Jewish and Roman state. Then a man named Joseph of Arimathea, who had been secretly following Jesus, finds courage he didn't know he had. He goes to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, and asks for Jesus' body. Imagine the surprise of those watching. Pilate agrees, and Joseph, with the help of Nicodemus, another secret follower, takes Jesus down from the cross. Until this moment, Joseph of Arimathea's admiration and belief in Jesus had been a closely guarded secret, hidden to avoid the scorn of his peers and the potential wrath of the Roman authorities. Yet the events of this day, the injustice, the agony, and the finality of Jesus' death, ignite within him a resolve that overshadows fear. The onlookers, a mix of Roman soldiers, grieving followers of Jesus, and curious bystanders, watch in astonishment as Joseph petitions for the body. Their surprise deepens when Pilate, perhaps moved by Joseph's boldness, consents to his request. With Pilate's permission secured, Joseph is joined by Nicodemus, another secret follower of Jesus. Nicodemus, who first came to Jesus under the cover of night seeking wisdom, now comes forward in the daylight, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds in weight, to properly prepare Jesus' body for burial. Together, these two men, both members of the Jewish elite and secret disciples, take down the body of Jesus from the cross. This act is not just a matter of religious observance or personal piety. It is a bold statement of allegiance and love. To claim the body of an executed criminal is to lay claim to his cause and his legacy. Joseph and Nicodemus, in making this request and performing this act of care, align themselves irrevocably with Jesus, stepping out from the shadows of fear and into the light of faith. They wrap Jesus' body with the spices and linen cloths, according to the burial customs of the Jews, and lay him in a new tomb in a garden near the site of his crucifixion, a tomb where no one had ever been laid. This moment, marked by an act of courage and devotion, underscores the transformational power of faith. It shows that even in the face of death and despair, the followers of Jesus are moved to acts of love and respect, honoring the man they believed to be their Messiah in death, as they had in life. Number 4, a tomb sealed and guarded. Jesus' body, now wrapped in clean linen with the tender care and mourning of those who loved him, is laid to rest in a tomb hewn from the unyielding rock of a garden near Golgotha. The placement of Jesus' body in this tomb is a moment of quiet amidst the storm of emotions that have surrounded the events of his crucifixion. The tomb's entrance is then sealed with a massive stone, an ancient practice meant to protect the body and honor the dead. This stone, while intended to mark the finality of death, also sets the stage for the miraculous. It stands as a silent challenge to the power of death and a prelude to the promise of life. However, the story does not end with this solemn moment of burial. The religious leaders, worried by Jesus' prophecy that he would rise again on the third day, see a potential threat even in his death. They approach Pontius Pilate with a request that shows their deep-seated fears. They speculate that Jesus' followers might attempt to steal his body and claim he has risen. Pilate agrees to their request. Roman soldiers are dispatched to the tomb. They seal it further. These soldiers then stand guard, a testament to the lengths to which the powers of the day would go to ensure Jesus' message would not spread. This sealed tomb, guarded by Roman soldiers, becomes more than a mere grave. It becomes a symbol of the tension between hope and despair, faith and doubt, empire and kingdom. Yet this sealed tomb also sets the stage for what is to come, a promise that light can emerge from darkness, life from death, and truth from the silence. Number 5, the miracle of the first day of the week. Jesus was crucified on Friday. Early on the first day of the week, Sunday, when the sky is just turning pink with dawn, some women who love Jesus come to the tomb with spices to anoint his body. But what they find is beyond belief. The mighty stone is rolled away, and the tomb is empty. It sets up the beginning of the greatest story ever told. Before the women can fully process this bewildering discovery, they saw an angel, radiant and awe-inspiring, standing guard where the body of Jesus had lain. The presence of the angel, so bright and terrifying in its otherworldly glory, fills them with fear, yet the message the angel delivers transforms their fear into astonishment and wonder. They said, "Do not be afraid. Jesus is not here. He has risen." This proclamation destroys the silence of the morning with a promise of hope and victory. The angel's words are a declaration that death does not have the final word, that the grave cannot hold the author of life. Jesus' resurrection is the fulfillment of his own predictions and the scriptures, a testament to his divine authority and the truth of his message. The women, led by Mary Magdalene, though initially shaken, become the first bearers of this astonishing news. Their journey to the tomb, motivated by love and devotion, becomes a mission to share the joyous message of Jesus' victory over death. The empty tomb and the angel's announcement invite not only the women, but all of humanity to witness the dawn of a new creation, where life triumphs over death, love conquers fear, and hope is reborn from the ashes of despair. Number 6. Jesus emerges from conquering death. In the days following the stunning discovery of the empty tomb, the followers of Jesus experience a series of encounters that defy explanation and transform their understanding of life and death. These encounters with the risen Jesus, each unique in setting and circumstance, share a common thread of wonder, revelation, and commission. First, Jesus appeared in a room with locked doors to his disciples. Imagine the disciples huddled together in fear, doors bolted shut against the outside world that had crucified their Lord. Into this atmosphere of despair and disbelief, Jesus suddenly appears among them, not as a spirit or a vision, but in flesh and bone. Bearing the scars of his crucifixion, "Peace be with you," he greets, a salutation that carries the weight of reconciliation and the promise of a peace that transcends earthly troubles. This encounter dispels their fear, turns their mourning into joy, and solidifies their faith in the risen Christ. Thereafter, Jesus appears on roads to distant towns. Picture two followers of Jesus walking the dusty road to Emmaus, their hearts heavy with the events of the past few days. As they journey, a stranger joins them, Jesus himself, though they do not recognize him. He explains the scriptures, revealing how the Messiah had to suffer before entering into his glory. Not until he breaks bread with them in the evening do their eyes open to his true identity, and then he vanishes from their sight. This encounter on the road transforms their despair into burning hope, compelling them to return to Jerusalem and share the news of his resurrection. Following this, Jesus appears by the shores of lakes. Now envision the disciples by the Sea of Galilee, returning to their former lives as fishermen, yet catching nothing. At dawn, Jesus stands on the shore, though they do not realize it is him. He calls out to them, instructing them to cast their nets on the other side of the boat. When they do, they rush to shore, where he has prepared a breakfast of bread and fish. This encounter, blending the miraculous with the mundane, reaffirms Jesus' lordship over creation and his intimate care for his friends. It's here that Peter is restored and commissioned, a poignant reminder of forgiveness and the call to shepherd Jesus' flock. Each of these encounters with the risen Lord brings a message of peace, hope, and a task to tell the world about him. Jesus' appearances serve not only as proof of his resurrection, but also as a commissioning for his followers. They are tasked to be witnesses of these events, to spread the good news of his victory over death, and to invite others into the new life he offers. Number 7. The spread of the news. After the initial shock and fear following Jesus' death, the disciples become emboldened, filled with joy and amazement. Jesus' followers spread the news far and wide. They tell everyone they meet about Jesus, his life, his death, and his resurrection. And this news, this good news, changes everything. This message, the gospel of God's love manifested through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, continues to resonate through the ages. It crosses culture, language, and geographical boundaries. Now, centuries later, the good news reaches us. Passed down through generations like a precious heirloom, it continues to change lives. offering hope where there is despair, peace where there is turmoil, and love where there is hatred. The message that began with a small group of followers in Jerusalem has grown into a global faith that continues to testify to the life-changing power of Jesus' resurrection. I congratulate you as you join the elect to listen and help spread this message. This episode invites each of us to become part of this ongoing story, to discover the transformative love of Jesus, and to carry forward the task of sharing this good news with a world in need. Thank you for watching. Please help the spread of the good news by subscribing to this channel. Share this good news on WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegrams, and all the other places. Help us to tell everyone that Jesus has risen. God bless you. Amen.